Hello, my name is Richard McMunn from the interview training website, passmyinterview.com, and in this presentation, I am going to teach you how to speak fluently during a job interview. Understandably, lots of candidates get really nervous about their job interviews, and they struggle to get the words out, and they struggle to create really comprehensive answers that are going to help them to pass their interview. So within this tutorial, I am going to give you 7 really important tips that will help you to speak fluently during your interview and also increase your confidence levels too. So take notes, pay attention, and let's get straight into those important 7 tips. How to speak fluently during a job interview. Tip number 1. It is very important that you try to compose yourself before your interview. A lot of people get flustered just before their interview because they are so nervous about what the questions are going to be and how they are going to perform. And it is that anxiety that hinders them answering the questions correctly. So it is very important that you compose yourself and you try to calm yourself down. Now, a few minutes before your interview is due to start, whether it's a face-to-face interview or online, is to take a number of deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth before your interview. Now, this will serve the purpose of relaxing your mind. We need your mind to be as calm as possible immediately before the interview. So take deep breaths in and out through the mouth, and do that a few times before your interview starts, and it will make a big difference to your performance on the day. How to speak fluently during an interview. Tip number 2. Now, this is one of the most important tips that is underused by all interview candidates, and that is to slow it down when you are responding to the questions. Because you are going to be nervous and anxious, there is a tendency to rush through your responses. And then you are not going to come across as somebody who is confident and somebody who is composed. So whenever the interviewer asks you a question, pause briefly before you answer it and consider carefully what it is you want to say. So try and slow down your responses, and you will come across as someone who is articulate, professional, and above all, confident. How to speak fluently during a job interview. Tip number 3. Now, this is a very, very important tip that I believe is going to make a big difference to how you communicate with the interviewer during your real interview. And that is to make sure you practice a number of mock interviews before the real thing. Now, within the description below this video, I have created a list of interview questions that I believe will come up during your job interview. And I want you to sit down in a chair and get somebody to sit opposite you and ask you all of the questions that are in the description below the video. And you can practice your answers. You can get them sounding perfect. And this will help you to calm nerves before the interview, and it will also help you to articulate your responses in a confident and professional manner. So make sure you check out those questions in the description below the video and get somebody to ask you all of them before you go along to your real interview. Now, these questions include: tell me about yourself. Why do you want to work here? Why should we hire you? Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? Tell me about a time when you provided excellent customer service, and do you have any questions for us? So make sure you check out those questions and practice a number of mock interviews before the real thing. How to speak fluently. Tip number 4. Before you go along to your interview, make sure you have your answer to the question, tell me about yourself, already prepared. Because by doing so, this will help to increase your confidence levels for the rest of the interview. So we know the interviewer is going to say to you, tell me about yourself, right at the very start of your job interview. And if you have an answer already prepared and it flows and it is fluent, then, as I say, it sets you up with confidence for the rest of your interview. Now, a great way to structure your answer to the common interview question, tell me about yourself, is to use the format SEAT. SEAT. You start off and you tell the interviewer the skills and qualities you have that are a match for the job description. E stands for the experience you have that is relevant to the role. Now, if this is your first job interview and you have no prior work experience, then you can talk about your educational qualifications. A is for achievements. What achievements have you gained in life so far? And finally, T, for the seat format, is the type of person you are. Tell the interviewer the type of person you are and what you will do in the role if they hire you. So tip number 4 is to make sure that you have your answer already prepared for the common interview question, tell me about yourself. How to speak fluently during your job interview, tip number 5. Do not expect to be perfect during your interview. I have many years' experience interviewing people like you for various different job roles. And I do not expect you to be perfect. I expect you to be a little bit nervous. And I will take that into account when I am scoring you. And I say this because I want you to relax and I want you to perform to the best of your abilities. So do not expect to be perfect during your interview. It is not possible. Interviewers will allow for nerves, and that's a good thing for you, and that will help you to remain calm and speak fluently during your job interview. How to speak fluently during job interviews, tip number 6. Avoid one-word answers to interview questions. The way that you will be able to build a rapport with the interviewer is to speak more. So the more that you speak in a controlled and calm manner, the better you will be able to build a connection with the interviewer. So if the interviewer says to you, describe yourself in one word, don't just say professional. You should say, I am professional. And I say that because I have a track record of carrying out different tasks and projects to a very high standard in previous roles. And I believe this will help your organization because I can come into the position and I can make a fast and immediate impact by carrying out all my duties on time and to the correct standard. So make sure you avoid one-word answers when responding to the interview questions. How to speak fluently during your job interview, tip number 7. At some stage during your interview, there is a possibility that you will not be able to answer a question. So if you can't answer 1 or 2 questions during the interview, it is not the end of the world. Try not to worry about it because we don't want that to impact on the rest of your performance during your interview. But it is very important that you have a plan in place of what you're going to say and do if you cannot answer a particular interview question. And you have 2 options. Option number 1 is to ask the interviewer if you can come back to that question later on in the interview, because that then gives you time to consider a suitable response. The second option is to tell the interviewer that you don't know the answer, but that you will get back to them later on in the day once the interview has finished. And this gives you a chance to go home, research your answer, and then email the interviewer with your response. So make sure you have a plan in place of what you are going to say and do if you cannot answer a particular interview question. Another really important tip that I want to give you to help you speak fluently during your job interview is to only use words that you are comfortable saying. So for example, if you are trying to use a word during your interview that either number 1, you are not sure what it means, or number 2, you cannot pronounce it correctly, then avoid using that word. My advice is to use simple words. Simple words to describe your qualities, your skills, and your attributes. And examples of good words to use that are easy to pronounce include professional. You can say that you are a professional person during your interview, but always remember to try and back up your claims with evidence of where you have been professional in previous roles. You might decide to say that you are a driven person. You are somebody who learns things very quickly, and you can also work at pace within the job role that you are applying for. Other really good simple words to use during your interview include the fact that you are a loyal person. You will always represent their brand in a positive manner, and you will be a positive role model for their company over the years. You could say that you are a hard-working individual, you are innovative, and that you are commercially aware. Being commercially aware is a great phrase to use during an interview. Being commercially aware tells the interviewer that you fully understand that in order for their business to be successful, you need to work to very high standards. So the final tip is to please make sure you only use words and phrases that you are comfortable pronouncing and using. We have now reached the end of the presentation. However, before you go and start practicing your mock interview, please make sure you click that link right now in the top right-hand corner of this video, and it will take you through to my website where you can download my top 21 interview questions and high-scoring answers. It is a PDF guide, and you can have it within your inbox literally within 2 minutes from now, and it contains a whole host of interview questions and brilliant answers that are constructed to help you speak fluently during your interview. So make sure you check that guide out right now. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button below the video if you haven't done so already. I am on a mission to help as many of you as possible to pass your interviews, and I can only do that if you are subscribed to the channel. Finally, please give the video a thumbs up, give it a like, because that motivates me to create more content for you. Thank you very much for watching and for paying attention, and I wish you all the best for passing your interview. Have a brilliant day.